Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the OpenGL for Beginners web tutorial. And what we're going to be doing in this tutorial is getting a basic understanding of OpenGL using C++, and we're going to split this into 3 videos. The first video will be learning to open a window and apply an OpenGL context to this window, and this will be pretty short. The second video will be actually drawing something to that window and displaying a white triangle. That's pretty simple, but it requires quite a bit of effort, so that's going to be probably the longest video. And the last but not least video will be the shading video, where we will apply shaders and a GLSL language, which is the shading language used in OpenGL to manipulate the colors of whatever we draw to the screen, and this will be explained later on during those tutorials. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to open Visual Studio, and I'm not going to explain how to actually link libraries and such things like that, because that's not really necessary. So I'm going to get in and I'm going to make my own new project, and what we're going to do is I'm going to start an empty project, and I'm going to call this, for example, I don't know, I'll call it GL project. There we go. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to wait a while, and then eventually things should be made. And I'm going to add a main.cpp to my project, main.cpp, and you can see here now I've got an entry point for my program. And what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my function main, and I'm going to type return 0, and just going to run it to make sure everything actually goes properly, make sure the program compiles and runs. And there we go, it returned successfully. That's all good. That means we can actually get started in doing what we want to do. And well, what we're going to be using is we are going to be using 2 libraries. One's going to be called the GLEW and one's going to be called GLFW. And I'm going to link below the links to install these libraries and how to link them and set them all up in your IDE. They're very helpful libraries. GLFW is very good, and I've been using it for a long time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to include GLFW, and in the latest revision it's the header file is GLFW3 in the latest revision, and this will enable us to use any of the code from the GLFW library. And the first thing we've got to do is we've got to initialize our GLFW, and this allows us to actually use this library throughout the lifetime of the program, which is really helpful. So I'm going to do if GLFW init equals false. This means it did not succeed in initializing GLFW, so did not succeed. So what we're going to do is we're going to include another library so we can actually print out this information. So I'm going to include IOStream. Oops, sorry, my bad. What we're going to do, actually no, I'm not going to include IOStream. I'm going to include stdio, and I'm going to include stdlib. And this just allows us to use the function that I'm going to use to actually print out the information. And this is going to be fprintf. And I'm going to tell the runtime it's going to be an error, and I'm going to say the error was GLFW failed to initialize. And that's all good. And we should probably return an error number for that and an error code. Now that's good. And after we've initialized GLFW, what we need to do is we need to actually ask it to open a window for us. And GLFW uses things called window hints, and this basically asks GLFW to set certain versions of OpenGL or set certain anti-aliasing properties or anything like that to the program. So what we're going to do first is going to do GLFW. Then we're going to do window hint, and we are going to try and set the GLFW underscore samples, set that to 4, and this gives it 4 anti-aliasing. That means it's 4 fragments per pixel. And then we're going to ask for a few more. Window hints. We've got GLFW underscore context underscore version major. We have that 3. Since these tutorials are orientated towards OpenGL 3.3 and above, because that's the that's kind of the new generation of OpenGL, that's the one we're going to be using in this tutorial. And this is how you set the OpenGL version within the actual program that you're going to be making. So what you do is you, oops, my bad. You ask the GLFW library to set the version major to 3, and you ask them to set the minor version to 3. And this essentially means you're asking for OpenGL version 3.3, and it's pretty good. And the last one we're going to ask for is the OpenGL underscore core profile. And what we want to set the profile to is the core profile, because we don't want any other backwards compatibility profiles or anything like that. So I'm going to set the core profile, and that's all good. And after we've set all the hints to create the window, we've actually got to create a window. And we're going to create a window. Yeah, we need a pointer. Window. Okay, we're going to set the window to GLFL, create window. And if I recall, it asks for a width, so I'm going to do 640, then a height 480, and then a title, my OpenGL. And then the other two properties we're not interested in at this moment in time, so we're going to use as null. And then we're going to ask GLFL to actually set this as the main current context. So make context current and window. Right, so let's explain this code a little bit again as we go down. The first thing we want to do is obviously we want to initialize the GLFW library, and if you don't know what GLFW is, it is a library that allows you to control basically the window, so you can get joystick inputs, you can play audio, you can do all sorts of things with it. It's a very good library, similar to SDL in a few ways, and it's a bit newer. And that's basically all you're doing. You're calling GLFW, and if it returns false, because it returns true if it succeeds and false if it doesn't, then you can print out your own custom error message and you can return an error code. That's all we're doing there. And what we're doing after that is we're setting a few window hints. The first one is the anti-aliasing. You don't need to do this at all. You don't even need to set any Windows hints, but we want to for this. For this tutorial. So we're going to get the AA to 4. We're going to set the OpenGL version to 3.3. And then we're going to set the OpenGL profile to the core profile. And after this, we decide we're going to create the window, and we use that using the helper function from GLFW called GLFW create window. And the first parameter is the width of the window, second parameter is the height of the window, the third parameter is the title of the window, and the fourth and fifth we're not interested in at this current moment in time. And then we make the current context the window that we just made, and this means that will be the window that OpenGL will be applied to, that will run the OpenGL program for us, like the sort of current window that OpenGL will be working in. Basically, that's what it means. And one more thing is we're going to actually check if the window was created. So if there isn't a window, then obviously we're going to want to fprintf, and there's an error, custom error message. Window failed to create, and then we're going to do GLFW terminate, and then return -1. And we're going to run this just to see if this actually compiles and runs. Oh, no it doesn't. Let's see what's going on. Oh yeah, I'm just going to go and hold back and go fix this, and then I'll be back in a moment. Hey guys, I'm back and I've just fixed the error. It was quite a simple error. It is a link library error, so that's the issue. But anyway, I'm back. So if we click this again, hopefully you won't have these errors. But what I've done is I've finally got the window. Oh, poop. But anyway, we've got the window, we've got the context, and we've got the title at the top of the window. And if we click this X button, hopefully all will be well, and it will close this window. And bam, there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and if you haven't, then I apologise, and you can comment on me what I've done wrong, call me an idiot, call me whatever you want, and I will change for you people, because you're all lovely and I love you all. So what we're going to do in the next tutorial is we're basically going to be drawing something to that context and using the context we have. And I know this looks like an awful lot of code just to start getting a triangle on the screen, but what this is it's reusable code. It gives you an idea of what a low-level pipeline for the graphics is, and we're basically getting a basic understanding of how these triangles that you are common to every day are drawn in the background anyway. So I hope to see you then, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. So see you all.